if you are in our chat, you probably were just with us a little over an hour ago, so welcome back. This is the Daily AI Show. We are doing a live react for OpenAI giving their updates for ChatGPT for Business. We expect Carl to join because he was the one who hostess said he was, let's have a party today. But with me today are Andy and Jumi so far. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Okay, now you have to speak because I can't hear you. Can I hear you?
Oh, hello, hello.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just waved. I hope everyone is doing well. As it clearly says, it's ChatGPT for Business. So maybe this is all teams and enterprise news. Maybe some new features. Oh, there's the Carl.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining today. I'm Nate, and I lead the ChatGPT for Business product team. Now, today's live stream is all about how we help bring your organization's unique work context directly into ChatGPT. And so the way that we do that is we enable you to connect your internal knowledge sources to ChatGPT so that you can find the most relevant information at the right moment. We also respect all of the existing user permissions inside of your organization, and we keep your data private and secure within the team and enterprise workspaces. So there are two experiences that we're going to walk through to show how we bring this context in. The first is connectors to your internal data to power deep research and also just everyday queries with ChatGPT. And the second is record mode, where we can capture and help you make better use of all the information that is spoken in meetings but isn't necessarily written down. And so I can personally attest to the fact and the power about these products. We've been using these every single day within our teams as we're dogfooding. And it's just amazing to see how we can take the breadth of information that we have at OpenAI and that we're creating every day, be able to synthesize that down with really targeted queries, and then be able to use that for actionable insights that drive our product work forward. So we've been really excited to play with it. We're excited to show to you all. So joining me is several members of our product and our research team. So we have Neil, Preeti, and Dibbo. So they're going to take you through the demos here. So I'll pass it over to Neil.
Sure. Thanks, Nate. I'm excited to show you all how we're using connectors to accelerate our own work here at OpenAI. Now, we can't show you our own internal data, but we can show you how connectors work on a fictitious company we've created called AGI Corp.
I think I'd like to work at a company like that.
I hear it's pretty good. So AGI Corp, a few months ago, launched one of my favorite fictitious products, Animal GPT. It's a new family of models that translates animal noises to human text.
What animals are we working on?
I think we've launched Bark to Text, and on the roadmap is Meow to Text coming up. But we're right now in the middle of Q3 planning and kicking it off. So as a team together, we're going to use our connectors and all of ChatGPT to help us kick off that whole planning cycle. We'll start off by using deep research and connectors to help us understand a little bit more about some of the upcoming partnerships and launches we might have going on. So I'll go ahead and open ChatGPT and hover over deep research. Now, if you remember, deep research launched in February of this year and is a new agentic capability in ChatGPT that allows you to extensively search and analyze the web. Now, one of the big pieces of feedback that we got from users is that they wanted to not only deep research over the public web, but over all of their private sources. And so when you click on deep research now, you're going to see a new sources drop down. And opening that, you'll see that deep research now not only connects to the web, but to all of your favorite apps, everything from GitHub to Gmail. I'm going to go through and toggle on a few that I'm particularly excited about for this next query. I'll do HubSpot, and then Outlook, SharePoint.
Wow, Outlook.
I want to ask ChatGPT is a little bit more about some of the potential distribution partnerships we can lean into for Bark to Text and Animal GPT. So I'm asking the model, hey, we're doing Q3 planning for Animal GPT, and we're excited about potential distribution partnerships. Can you take a look at HubSpot and tell me what open deals are most likely to close that overlap with our company strategy? And I'm going to have it cross-reference those with any discussions and kickoffs that we have in SharePoint, Teams, and Outlook. So I'll go ahead and kick off that query, and deep research will go ahead and ask me some contextual questions specific to the applications we have right now. So it's asking me about the company strategy. I'll say AGI Corp wants to advance AGI. But focus, it is a good one. Focus on deals with high revenue potential and high likelihood to close in Q3. Make sure to cross-reference across all the Microsoft apps. And with that, deep research is going to go ahead and kick off. And it's going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes extensively searching all the different apps that I've pointed it towards. Now, the really awesome thing is that a query like this would have otherwise taken me or my team hours or even days to comb through HubSpot, Teams, chat, CRM, messaging. And instead, deep research is going to go ahead and do that in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, and I think there's something really powerful about being able to extend our team's capabilities as well. So, things like CRM data are likely data sources that Neil and other product members may not be as familiar with. And now you're able to get answers from that really quickly.
Absolutely. And it's not just CRM. I use this feature all the time to search Git. I'm sure our engineers thank it for not letting me bother them every day. Cool. Well, deep research takes a couple minutes to get started. So in the meantime, I'll hand it over to Preeti and Dibbo to show us what else we can do.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil. So while deep research is going on, as Neil said, it's great for really comprehensive reports around a specific topic, but a lot of times you just want to quickly go back and forth in the context of your everyday work. So we're going to show you, how you can augment that with bringing in additional knowledge to really streamline the work you do in ChatGPT itself. So I'm going to open up a new window here while deep research is going on. And we're going to use this to kind of get up to speed on some of the things going on at the company, triage a bunch of documents and data across our file storage systems that we use here at AGI Corp, and then pull together a synthesis of what we should be working on. Sounds like we have a lot of exciting work with Bark to Text and Meow to Text coming. So let's start kind of going broad. Like I said, we're new here, so we just want to get up to speed. So I'm going to ask something like, ChatGPT, get me up to speed on our Q2 marketing and product strategy. And I'm also curious about revenue. So I'll say, what features drove the most revenue in Q2?
So there are a few ways to invoke a search. We've post-trained the model to be good at understanding when the user's question requires internal knowledge. So in those cases, it will try to automatically trigger that, like it's doing here. But if you just want more direct access, we've also built a new tool into the composer that you can use to manually toggle on sources that you want ChatGPT to search across. So you can see that in just a few seconds, Preeti got a pretty in-depth summary of our Q2 plans. Do you want to talk about some of the sources that the model's showing here?
Yeah, like Diva said, I mean, the great thing here is that not only do we get a really clear summary within a couple seconds, but each part of the model's response is actually showing us what sources it's pulling from. So we can verify the information, we can dig deeper, and then we actually have a source tab here. So if you want to engage individually with certain documents, I can ask it to deep dive on individual documents if I want to continue my research there. All of these sources, like Nate said at the beginning, are permission aware and enforced. So I'm only able to see the documents that I have access to. Here we're signed into my account, so I work very closely with our board team here at AJ Corp, so we can see that I have access, and it's pulling up some of the board decks. But
I'm curious what it is.
Like Debo doesn't, so don't look too closely.
I mean, it's fine. They don't give it to Neil and I either.
No. Keep us in the dark.
Okay, so
easier.
coming back to the summary here, as Neil was mentioning, it does look like Bark to Text v2 is doing pretty well. So maybe let's see if we have any information on engagement. It looks like retention was pretty good, but let's see if we can get up to speed here. So let me ask ChatGPT to generate a time series plot of daily active users for Bark to Text v2. And it looks like ChatGPT is automatically launching into data analytics mode. So I use this feature a ton, and normally the way I would do it is I would have to upload spreadsheets that first kind of go into Google Drive and find where the data is located, then manually upload it here. Here, the great thing is it already has context on my enterprise knowledge, so it's able to automatically draw in that data so I can get straight to work. So here, within a second, I was able to look up, a pretty generic query on what DAO looks like for Bark to Text v2.
Yeah, it looks like we're crushing it. I'd love to see that.
Probably it's time for Meow to Text. And to help us with that, I actually think our user research team was doing a bunch of user interviews. Let's see if we can find anything relevant there. So let me ask ChatGPT, find user interviews from Dropbox from recent pet owners. There we go. And now, as you can see, I'm kind of using natural language to filter down the query a little bit. I have a few different parameters here, and Dropbox was highlighted because it's telling the model that I should prioritize data from there. So we've built a little bit of a UI to let you know that the model is really prioritizing that source as well. So based on the specific query parameters, I asked it for recency, I asked it from Dropbox, and I asked it from pet owners because, as Neil was looking at, we have a ton of stakeholders ranging from vet clinics to different kind of partnerships. So I just wanted to look at pet owners specifically as we think about Meow to Text v2. And we have a few different user interviews here. So normally we'd kind of go through and read all of these, which would take a bunch of time to synthesize.
Does anybody
As
know
a PM,
how
I
many
spent a ton of
accounts
my
you can
week
have
doing that,
connected of
but
any
let's see if we
particular
can
service?
kind of bootstrap that and ask ChatGPT to help synthesize for us. Let me ask synthesis
Carl, you're
of
talking. We
these
can't hear you.
interviews.
Oh,
Pull top
all I know is you can only
pain
connect
points
one
and ops
personal,
ranked by
but I can
return
connect
on investment.
personal and a work.
And then I want this to be immediately
rewrite.
actionable. So let me say something like,
I
turn this
doubt
into
you'll be able to connect more than
Q3
one
plan
drop block per
and
account.
generate a doc. And as the last
You can
thing, a
disconnect
lot of
it.
times when you're doing your work, it's most useful if it's actually in the language and the way that you actually work within your company. So I'll ask it to cross-reference our template to format it in the right way too. Let me ask.
And this is our Q3 planning template?
Yes, look up our planning template doc and follow that.
So behind the scenes, once the model's decided that it needs to use internal knowledge to answer the user's question, it's going to go ahead and rewrite it into one or more contextualized queries with different attributes like how recent it needs the results to be, or what sources it wants to filter down to for the search. And then our search backend can operate on these queries and return the most relevant results that the user already has permissions to view. And then given these results, the model can then decide to go back and ask follow-up questions or dig into some of these files by opening them, use some other tool, or just answer right away.
Yeah, and it actually looks like in the last couple of minutes, I lost access to the planning template. I guess some things changed around here, but that kind of shows you how permissions are always respected here, and it's really up to date, and that's really important to how we built the system. So within a couple of seconds, we were able to go through and get a prioritized list of what we should be building, some core metrics that we look at, as well as some of the core work streams here. So it looks like, Neil, you're going to be working on contextual intelligence, and I'll be working on our pet memory layer. But we have a busy Q3 ahead of us. So that was just kind of an end-to-end flow on how bringing in some of your enterprise knowledge will really augment the work you do in ChatGPT and can help you centralize a little bit more. So we're excited to start rolling this out today across file storage systems where enterprises have a large portion of their enterprise knowledge. So Google Drive, as well as SharePoint, Dropbox, and Box in beta. This is rolling out for Teams, Enterprise, and EDU. And just as a reminder, by default, we don't train on any data across Teams, EDU, and Enterprise, as well as, and that includes any connected data as well.
But I know clients that do.
So this is still early days for connectors. While connectors remains in beta, we're excited to see how you use this with your work, and we are committed to continuous improvement and testing.
Great. Thank you, guys. Now I want to invite another one of our PMs over to sit with us, who's going to talk through the next feature of record mode. So Sandra's going to be joining us, and I can assure you there's nobody who is more excited for Meow to Text than she is.
Plus or Pro.
Thanks, Nate.
I think it's
That's right, I'd love
designed.
to talk to my kittens.
I think it's designed for
All right, so
like actual
having
business
the
users.
ability to get answers across all your documents and data sources is a huge win. But we also know that that's just really half the story, right? A lot of the important decisions and context from our work actually happens in the conversations that we have with our teammates.
Absolutely.
And so that's why we're introducing ChatGPT Record Mode. It's a way for us to help make sure that your notes are complete, that they're not scattered. You're also not having to multitask during a meeting where you're really trying to engage and you're having to take notes at the same time. So with Record Mode, what we're introducing is on our macOS desktop app, you will see a circle icon button next to all of the other voice options. And with just clicking on this button, you will get a recording. So right now, ChatGPT is recording all of our audio, and on the back end, it's transcribing that audio, and it's going to generate a really useful summary for me afterwards. So for now, we're not going to record this session, so I'm going to go ahead and just close this out. But let's look at, AGI Corp's Q3 Pounce plan. So the team last week was doing a brainstorming session around personality-aware translation, and they were really talking through like the different options that they had. And they recorded that session, so you can see that there is a structured meeting output here. And if you navigate down the page, what you'll see is that there are key points, action items, and most importantly, they're always citing the transcript. So if I have more questions about, hey, the energy trait, that's where we're going to
Can we get
focus
the
our
audio
personality
file?
translation on. What was spoken about that? Like, what should I know about that? It's going to go highlight that section exactly in the transcript, so you always have that full context.
These timestamps are awesome. Makes it really easy to figure out where exactly the things were said.
And like we said, we use this every single day inside of the teams, and it's being able to kind of go from the summary to the transcript is really, really powerful. So if I were in a meeting and I were going to share something back with Sandra and she didn't have full context, she's able to get the kind of TLDR on the summary, but then also go to the individual details when she needs to.
Yep, exactly. The great thing too is, let's say like we fast forward a couple of weeks and I'm trying to remember what actually happened in that meeting, right? And this happens all the time. Things move fast at OpenAI, and so I imagine they move fast at AGI Corp as well. And let's say I was saying, hey, like what were the technical limitations that we discussed at our Q3 planning? I can go ahead and send that note to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to scan across all of the data sources, again, docs, data sources, but also our transcripts. They're included in that overall corpus as well. And so you can see, hey, what we flagged was the latency issues, the GPU resource constraints, and with it, you have all of these embedded links directly into the transcript. So again, you can have that full context. And then from here, what's really great is I might ask, okay, help me draft a leadership update on our Q3 roadmap. We definitely don't look far enough
Get
for
to Q4?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, so like just like that, something that would have taken me a lot of pinging folks, trying to get the full context of the meeting, those other teammates trying to remember what happened in the meeting, all of that's actually captured, and ChatGPT becomes your second memory, right? And so with that, I'm able to both recall, understand clarity on what the decisions were made, and then immediately turn that out into a leadership update that normally would have taken me a bunch of time. So with that, I would love to, Neil, show us what Deep Research is up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sandra. Cool. So as you remember, earlier we kicked off a deep research query that was looking at all of the different partnership and distribution deals we might be able to do with Animal GPT as we go into Q3. So it looks like now, if we come back to ChatGPT, Deep Research has actually spent 9 minutes doing a really comprehensive search of all of these different applications. And it's pulled together what seems to be a really comprehensive report on all of our distribution partnerships. So you can see in ChatGPT, the model's put together some really great summary insights, some top Q3 opportunities in a really good table too. So it shows us opportunities, deal stage, close dates, revenue, strategic fit, cross-reference discussion. And the awesome thing too is that it's pulling all the different citations from all of the different sources that we've hooked it up to. You can see HubSpot, Teams, SharePoint, and Outlook all put together here. Again, this is the kind of work that would have taken me hours to do, and we got it all done in minutes. Now, we just showed a small set of connectors just now with Deep Research, but the amazing thing is that we've added a whole new set of connectors that are launching today with deep research, just to go down the laundry list so we all see them together. We've got Box, Dropbox, GitHub, Gmail, Calendar, Google Drive, HubSpot, Linear, Outlook Calendar, Outlook Email, SharePoint, Teams.
What's that Whisker DB?
You know, that is not a typical first-party connector. That is a custom connector powered by MCP, or Model Context Protocol, that I've loaded up into ChatGPT.
Nice.
We're excited to announce that ChatGPT is now supporting MCP custom connectors, building on the work that we've done with the Responses API over the past month. What this means is that if you're an admin for an enterprise or team workspace, you can connect a custom MCP connector and publish it to your organization. This is really awesome if you have custom databases like WhiskerDB that you want to expose to all of your users. And if you're a pro user, you can also connect custom sources and publish it to your own personal ChatGPT. Not only that, we're also partnering a lot more with the ecosystem. In fact, the HubSpot connector that we just demoed wasn't built by us, it was built by the HubSpot developer team. And it's the first MCP custom connector that we've published directly in our registry.
Yeah, that's great. So there's one more thing that I want to chat with you all about before we break today. So to support the diverse way that all of our customers use ChatGPT, we're making our pricing much more flexible. So tangibly, what this means is that we're adding credits to all of our existing workspaces across enterprise and team. And so your users now will get full access with their existing plans to all of our most intelligent and advanced model features and new models that we're rolling out. So this is going out to enterprise today and will be launching to team in the next couple of weeks. So now I want to recap all the different pieces that we've talked about today and kind of bring it back together. So what we showed you is how ChatGPT is able to take your company's context and make it more relevant, actionable, and accessible across your entire employee base, leveraging connectors and record mode. Now, we believe this just is going to help make ChatGPT just a much more powerful collaborator for your teammates. We're really excited to see what you all built. We've had a ton of fun building it ourselves and using it internally. So please let us know feedback on LinkedIn. Let us know what you think. Really appreciate you all joining us today, and we'll see you soon.
That's fantastic for enterprises and
Yeah.
connect all those together. Oof.
So all I can do is let's see when it gets to plus, and then it'll be for real.
Well, but we're not going to make this decision on air because we're still live with people. But we at OpenAI, yeah, I know who I am and where I am. We at the Daily AI Show don't have a Teams account for our stuff. We don't do that for our things. But this now is making me like, okay, are we nearing a time when we want to have some central information and be able to connect some resources? Because that starts to get really interesting to me.
Yeah, while it was going on, I was checking out what sources for deep research, and you can do additional sources. There's Box on there. There's
Yes.
OneDrive and stuff like that. Not the full extension that they were showing available, but I mean, so there's hope for more integrations. The two takeaways I'm most interested in is that recording function and the MCP function. Number one, with the MCP function, is that something can I build my MCP server and put it on there, or can I build an MCP server for a service that doesn't have, because it says it's custom, right? For a service that may not have an MCP, and load that in. So I'd like to dive a little deeper into how that function, and then the recording function, like how smooth a lot of things would go for even our own production if we could record things directly. And does it only record audio? Do we have access to those files, or is it only derived from it? Is it just a speech to text and that's it? Can it do video? Can we choose what sources are providing the recording? So those are my takeaways. The other stuff being specifically teams and enterprise are niceties. I mean,
Mhm.
it's things that it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, you're going to integrate all of these sources. We can access all of our documents, in these sources. Fantastic. Like one of the questions I asked was like, oh, can you have multiple sources? Like, can I have 6 different Google drive accounts? Because I've got 6 Gmail accounts and Google Drives connected to it. It'd be nice to access all of those, right, for under one account. But this is probably where the teams and enterprise function comes in, where it's a one-for-one, or that's the capability that you're really getting out of teams or enterprises, the ability to collaborate with multiple accounts. I know I'm always asking for a lot when I say, hey, plus account, I paid $20, give me everything that you got. I know I'm asking a lot, but still, I'd like to see versions of this. The deep research sources is nice to see. I want to see this recording function come down to plus. And then I know, Carl, you you were excited. It's like, okay, cool. They said that this one thing's going to be in pro, which is good, because a lot of us, I'm sure, are in that nebulous zone between needing some enterprise features, but I also don't need a whole enterprise solution.
Yeah.
So, and these credit things, they didn't really go into it too much, but that might be sort of what was hinted by Sam, a month ago or 2 months ago, or saying, hey, what about credit based? Was that something you're interested in? So maybe this is dipping the toe in that kind of hole.
When I heard the credit based, I think it was more of I think it makes sense for an enterprise, because if you give everyone access to the top end tools, it's the enterprise is literally paying for like what they're going to be using it for, right? Because how many times have we seen like whatever function of a software, like an ERP or something, and then you're like, I don't use half of the stuff, or 80% of the stuff. I only use this part of the stuff, and I really like this part. So I kind of like that flexibility where, like, if you're not going to use deep research, then why is the company paying for deep research? Like, they should only be using deep research when it's being used, not for everybody. It's not like a cash grab, because it's like, okay, everybody's going to get 1,200 deep research uses, but the people who are actually using it need like 5,000 deep research, but the rest of the company uses like 2. So it doesn't make any sense. So I thought, okay, that makes more sense to pay per use, right? Pay per use. I'm like, okay, that actually works a lot better than
Well,
people claiming.
right. I see where you're going with that. For me, I do like the all-inclusive subscription type approach, but of course, my use case is far different. I don't have from my position, I'm using everything, right? So I want an all-inclusive. I think as an add-on, the capability of going, here's some more credits to run things. Like you said, instead of 1,200 deep researchers, they need 5,000. Okay, well, let me add on a component that pushes it up to 5,000 or whatever the limits are. And it does look like that seems to be the trend, to expect that there's going to be limitations on how many runs. And I think anyone who if they figure out their numbers of their average user, and they can figure out, a way to do an all-inclusive price without having to do that, that's going to be a big win. That'll be a big draw for people, because a lot of times you don't want to have to calculate credits, especially when each model has a different cost, right? Some model runs are going to be, pennies, and you can do thousands of runs, whereas you do one 4.5 and boom, there's $75. So it's like, whoa, okay, let's think about that. So I think there would be a couple of different applications there. Now,
I would be okay with that if they gave us if there was an included tracker, right? Like, this is such an easy interface to do. It's very frustrating that they don't do it, right? Like, hey, you've used we give you this many this month. You've used this many, or this week, or this 3-hour period, or whatever that is. You have this many tokens. Like, if you're going to come in with that kind of thing, I really want you to hold my hand so I can know how to use it. But I suspect they don't, because people like me are like, I don't know, maybe I should use the lower model first. So
Yeah.
I'm
No, I
self-taught.
agree. I think there's a lot of user behavior that we're still trying to figure out, right? Because it's all relatively new, and then when a new model with new capabilities, we're trying to figure out how to use that. So, I mean, until GPT-5 comes out and it figures out what you're trying to do, and even then, user behavior is going to have to be figured out. Uh, and when I'm talking about user behavior, I'm envisioning things like you said, let me use 4.0 Mini to ask all my questions to get to the point where I know what I need to craft my prompt for the deep research. All right. Now, my main takeaway here is my brain was already, the gears were starting to turn once I saw these capabilities and how they would look like a workflow for me, right? And our concentration here has been a lot of on the content creation side for DAS and in our other programs. But so when I was looking at the recording and I was looking at the deep research sources and those kinds of things, I'm like, okay, well, this is show development. This is also net new and repurposing content development, because I can say, hey, there's a topic. All right, cool. We've collected what we've said so far in the show, right? All of our transcripts. That's a source of information. Then there's stuff that I want it to go out and find. It's like, okay, let's do a deep research. All right, now I have this deep research. Let's talk about, what is that in the script form? Convert the deep research into the script form. Record. Can I do audio and video? That's fantastic. Let's record that. Cool. Now I have a transcript, build a summary, and then I can all workflow that through, and if these MCP things work out, then I have a workflow, and then I'll just, tie in output. And that's the key thing I want to see is there's a great way for drawing information. How is our output going? Can I write my Google Docs? Can I create the proper export of whatever I'm working on?
But if it's a piece that we can hook up to something, then you could have these discrete Lego blocks that you plug in, right? This is an automation. Carl, what are you thinking in terms of does this just complement some things that you would do with GenSpark? Like, would that be an answer to what Junmi was saying? Like, do we get all of this and then that gets handed to GenSpark, which then writes the stuff? Or is
No,
that
ideally you'd have ChatGPT be GenSpark, build a
Okay.
page. Like you could see all the stuff it does, right? Builds a page, does a presentation, all that stuff. In some forms or fashion, that type of ability should be what OpenAI should allow you to do. And in many ways, GenSpark itself is more advanced from an agent perspective because of what it can do on multiple levels, right? So like
Right.
you can download all these PDFs and put them into a folder, right? And then based on that folder, you can ask questions against it. Then it can create web pages for you. It can do all those things in one prompt and execute them and pretty well. So I would think the connectors, and then that's what GenSpark has, is they want to connect that. I would imagine the new ability of it is to connect. They just added the whole Google suite. I would imagine that's the next piece, is those connectors to it, right?
Mhm.
And then the same thing with Runner H. Like these are the agents that you do, but overall, it would be the major AI labs to enable that capability in one place. Because if they can do that, then you've got the agent capability there too. So, but I don't know like what the goal is, because maybe GenSpark and Manus had served different purposes, because you can't rely on everything, every single aspect that GenSpark does, because there's going to be edits and mistakes and so on, but they make it really easy to edit it after the fact. So there's that too.
All right.
But I don't like.
Yeah, and all of those operator type services are not, they're not the orchestrator, right? They do orchestration for, particular goals, but they're still not the orchestrator that's going to be the first contact. Right?
Unless you use ChatGPT as the one, hey, go to Manus and do this.
Right. And
Right.
that's my point, is we don't have that layer yet. I mean, advanced voice is getting closer to that stuff coming out of Hume. They just released an update to their interface conversational, voice assistant. So that interface, that's going to be a user interface to connect to whatever your backend orchestration process is, right? Whatever that.
I'm hoping
And
everybody.
again,
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it's just a preview for tomorrow's episode on essentially what Satya and Adela was talking about with Matt Berman, which he's talking about the agentic web, where the way that the way SaaS works now is you're kind of siloed, and then you have these connectors to these systems like a Zapier or Make, but it's all if then that, right? Like these things are making it a little easier, but to me, GenSpark and Manus are kind of the first wave of your SaaS actually becomes a backend and becomes it's not, so there was a term, it's not usable, it's useful. So like an agent would go to multiple apps, right? So you're like, hey, I want you to book our management meeting, or book me a Q3 management team meeting somewhere in, I don't know, like Boston. So your agent would literally go to all Outlooks and Gmails, whichever, of all of the members of the management team, look up the availabilities, find an availability date, then go to Concur. I don't know if you've heard of Concur. Concur is usually a travel agent. Book the meeting, book the flights, and book the hotels, everything based on the agreed upon date that it created, and then take all the presentation decks that you've already provided through OneNote, Drive, wherever, take it from Slack, take all that stuff, develop a plan, an agenda, and then perhaps send it to the manager and be like, hey, approve this, all good, done. That's what it means to be agentic, because it's going from one to one to one. All your systems are open, that the agent can go and extract the information it wants based on the goal, which the goal is, hey, book a meeting for a Q3 in Boston, blah, blah, blah. That's the goal. It has access to everything all at the same time, versus a Salesforce where like a Salesforce agent only sits atop siloed on Salesforce.
Right.
But Satya Nadella was saying that doesn't make any sense with MCP. Everything should be open. All your SaaS should be open so these agents can do that work. And it's more valuable to do the work rather than the actual individual process. So anyway, that's the discussion. That's what I was thinking. The discussion for tomorrow is the agentic web that Satya was talking about.
That is amazing.
Sounds good.
All right. So we have comments. We're not going to give them to you right now because we're going to wrap this up, and then we're going to come back tomorrow and have that conversation. So any final thoughts? I felt really excited about some of the things that could be done with the connectors. And now I want to go back and see if I'm missing abilities that I can do with my own connections. Like, can I, you showed very cool stuff. I don't care if everybody can access it. Can I do that now with my stuff?
Yes.
That's part of
You know what though? The problem with that is, like, for example, in Claude, the whole Zapier integration, fantastic. Looks good, sounds good. The demo looks good. When I'm connected to it, internal error. I'm like, send email to this, internal error. I'm like, okay. So we are still early. So what people say, and even like ChatGPT, when I try to connect it to different type of sources, it's not like when you ask for it, it's not there sometimes. So
Well,
we still gotta,
that happened in the demo, right?
exactly.
She played it off with like,
Yeah.
oh, it looks like I
Oh,
no
I'm not sure.
longer have
Yeah.
access to it. So, maybe somebody took my access away. Yeah. Or it just dropped like it does for, the rest of us.
Right. Well, that's probably a good general rule is if you see something really cool from the source, like from OpenAI or whoever is offering, hey, here's this new feature. It's like, okay, great in concept. Execution will probably, let's lower that expectation by half.
Yeah.
I did see, well, I just did deep research. Like a Gmail app just popped up. I haven't seen that before. So I can connect my deep research now to Gmail. So I was
And
like,
that's in Pro.
That's in Pro right now. I don't know if you can check, but they said they're
rolling. Hey,
right?
Plus has got Gmail and Google Calendar now.
Oh yeah, and there's Google Calendar. I see.
There's Outlook. Yeah, I can see
Outlook.
SharePoint, Teams, HubSpot. Oh, it's all there. They added it to everybody. Nice.
So give that a try though, because I'm kind of skeptical sometimes. They're like unable to research or like internal server error from Claude. So I don't know.
And they didn't show anything about output. That's always my question about it.
And you never know. Like, what does that mean?
You can bring in, but can I go out? So, because that would save a lot of time with my Canvas documents if I could just output it to my Google Drive.
Yes.
All right. So everybody's thing is called the same thing. You guys are talking about connections to services with OpenAI and the Canvas and OpenAI. Or are you talking about Claude or Gemini?
Sorry, I'm talking about ChatGPT right now because I'm looking at it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm curious about Teams. I was like, what the heck in Teams? I was like, that's a disaster in its own kind of ecosystem. You want to connect that to your ChatGPT? I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. What does that mean?
Gareth said this presentation, the announcement could have been an email, but no, the email is like from look for it now if you're listening from your business, because your admin is like, do not connect Outlook.
Oh, 100%. Like all IT people are like doing this. I was like, just like stabbing their eyes with forks. Like, I don't, what am I going to do here? And there's people like me in the communities, like in the work, like just connecting everything. Right?
Yeah.
Well, they did. Well, that's the other thing too. I noticed is they were very specific. They said it twice. It's like, okay, and we don't train any of your data. Everything is safe. We, adhere to your user policies, our access policies.
Did you see? You have the ability to create a connector, Junmi. Go to your connectors, create the connector, and there it is.
What?
With the MCP server URL. So like,
where is that?
So if you go to your settings, and I think it's under connectors.
Oh, sorry. That must be for Pro.
You don't have the create button?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because I just saw it. I was like, oh,
sorry. Us plebeians will have to we'll have to ask you, Carl, what that's like.
So which is okay. Another reason to go to Teams, right? Or go
Teams?
to
okay. I was like, Teams? I'm like, no, not Microsoft Teams. That's terrible.
No, I know not of what I speak. I mean team, not Teams. A team account. Could that would that give us the ability to?
I don't know. Probably, like, because didn't they say they're rolling it out? I don't know, because the connectors, I thought they're rolling it out for enterprise only, but everyone got it. So what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
So Brian's company has a team account, so maybe we'll find out. We just don't know now.
And how many accounts do you have to have for Teams? You have to have two. And they're what, 25 each? Okay. Well, I guess, Do you get access to everything if you go to Teams? That's like $50 a month as opposed to $20.
No, it's $30 a month, I thought.
Oh, is it $30 for each account though?
I thought it was 25.
Yeah, I thought it
Maybe
was
it's
25.
25. Okay. Like
Right. So it's
you're
50
saying
because you have to
50
have
for
two.
okay.
Right. So, it's
All
like,
right.
okay. They're doing
Now
the stages. All right.
we
Yeah.
are still live. So this now is very much a private conversation, seems like. And why do you just hang with us? Because this is what our show is like
So
sometimes.
Gareth and Gwen want me to share, so I'm gonna share it really
Cool.
quickly.
Yeah.
There is something that I did find. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so what I did like, so you go here, you go to your settings. Okay,
Right.
so one thing I did like is underneath, right? You have deep research. So you can't just randomly use it for everything. It's only for deep research, right?
Okay.
It's only for deep research. Only
Gotcha.
for deep research. Only for file uploads.
Oh,
So you
create. Oh,
It's
nice.
not like
Yeah.
an MCP where you're like, hey, what's in my Google Drive? Blah, blah, blah. No, it's like you can only upload. It's kind of a stupid thing. I was like, I could do that manually or not. I don't know. I've always had problems with this because it works with file uploads. So it only uploads the file. It makes it easier to. So
Mm.
what do these connectors actually mean? So if I go here, works with deep research. So it like that makes sense. So it's not like an MCP where you can ask against it, but maybe this works with deep research. So does that mean if I create this, I can
Okay.
ask it against anything? That's the question I'm going
Well,
to right?
And this is
okay.
big.
I see what you're saying. I mean,
Right?
it seems like for the most part, it's about drawing in, but if your connector is, it just says the MCP
Yeah.
server link, so that may include requests because primarily it's requesting information, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure some services are going to have write information, not just read but write, and so that doesn't answer the question until we actually put one in there, but it would be that would probably be the first thing I would try. So I would go to the MCP GitHub. I would find the 100% supported, thing that has some sort of write feature to it. Maybe a connector that you don't see for a service that you have. Pop in their MCP, and the first thing to do is take this conversation and write it into a document into that storage or whatnot, because that's that
I
opens
would
up a lot of things if you can do that.
I would say what they have now is kind of outside of deep research is kind of useless, as in file uploads. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's great that you can now see my Google Drive to upload the file, but what I'm looking for is I guess this is what it is, the true MCP integration, where if I had a Google Analytics, I could be like, hey, what were my top 5 sources last 5 days? That would be the true connector to an actual application, right?
Right. And then write the report. Let me
Yes.
verify. Cool.
Yes.
And then export the
Yes.
report.
Yes. That would be
Yeah.
essentially what you want it to do. And maybe you can do that with deep research, but I don't think they allow you to do that with any of these things, right? Because it's like Google Calendar. Maybe it's for still works with deep research.
Yeah, it's all read. It's all incoming. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing anything here that allows you to output, but that'll be the next step, right?
Eh,
If they already have a system to support OAuth, then it's just a capability thing. It's just they haven't made it yet. It's not they can't do it. It's just they haven't done it yet.
But maybe this is what allows you to do, right? Beta intended for developer use only. So maybe let's see what this actually looks like, how it works, build, blah, 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 blah. But can I actually execute in that? And I'm going to try one. I'm probably going to try Outlook. to actually see if I can draft an email with Outlook,
Yeah, that
right?
that would be a really good use case. That
So so um so for example here, right? Essentially, this is what the Zapier integration allows me to do. Google Analytics, Outlook, find, create, right? So
yeah,
it's like create an email in Outlook for to tell someone I'm late tomorrow. Create a draft, send it to Jeff Bradshaw. So there, that would be
nice.
like that's the instructions. This is connected, right? Zapier.
Mhm.
I don't know if I have to use Zapier. Maybe like it would keep timing out on me. So if I do it like that, bingo, that's it right there. So I'm doing something wrong or it's kind of messed up for me. But you can see all the read, reply, update. Like I should theoretically be able to do this all in here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't
So
work.
update from the chat. Gareth also has a pro subscription and does not have the create connector button yet. So it's not fully rolled out. It may be rolling out to Plus also, right?
Yeah.
That
Oh,
would
no,
be
no. Gareth has Plus. Okay. Thanks, Gareth. So if he has Plus, then yeah, we also don't have it with Plus. We'll see. The real question for me is team with no S.
Oh, team. Yeah, my
ChatGPT team.
Team, because team is different than teams, as
Yep.
Canva is different than
Different than
canvas.
Canvas.
God. So
Yeah.
at least no one's using stupid Copilot anymore because that's another audible term.
I
Oh
think
my
that was the number one everybody called out. It's like, oh, I guess we have a Copilot for everything. There's a Copilot version for everything.
At
Don't
least it's
worry. I'm sure the reason why they don't care about naming conventions and distinction from other offerings is because they think they'll be the only one in a few years.
yeah.
No, because no. All right, this is best. Like woo prediction in the future that as names get increasingly like non-relevant, you will be able to reserve a custom token for your name, right? So it won't matter what it is. It's your custom branded token string. You buy it, and now you own whatever that is, right? It's always you. No one can come and be more co-piloty than you because you have trademarked or whatever it is within the. I guess that's only per model, though. You can't do that across
Oh,
models.
so I was looking at
All right.
the last thing is they recently did a quick video on creating a MCP. I think it's
Mhm.
only for deep research. It's not for just randomly doing stuff. It's only for deep research.
Always just read.
So
Yeah.
yeah, just read. So I think
Which, not to discount how useful that is still very useful. But like everybody else in the AI space, it's like, okay, cool. You promised that months ago. So now
yes.
we want to know the new thing that you're promising.
Yeah.
And this is the opportunity, right? Because they all come out and say, "Oh, you're going to be able to do these amazing things. We have this big slick video of all the things that you should be able to do." And then they don't release it. That's the opportunity to then for somebody to come in with an agent or a N8N whatever, right? Some connections that say actually our thing is ready now. So go and watch that video again and then come back and we'll tell you how to do it with our stuff, right? Because you've
Right.
we want it now. You've effectively sold it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now I even like the article actually says there's a difference between connectors and sync connectors. So sync
Yeah.
connectors are the ones that you can actually chat with, and the
Mhm.
only sync connectors that they have right now are Google Drive.
Okay, but then talk to me about whether the sync connector is live during the conversation or does it take a picture of it when it opens and then
Here, I
we're
can
having that conversation there. It's not synced
I'll
live.
share my screen one more time, and so this is the link to it. This is the complexity of connectors,
Nice.
right? And it's like type of connectors: chat search connectors, deep research connectors, sync connectors,
Okay.
and then like because which one has which, right? It's like ChatGPT search, Box, Dropbox, none of these, Google Drive, OneDrive, like that, and then
Why do they
plus.
even have that column for plus?
Why
And
even? I can't even. Why even have this? This column's literally useless. So blah, so on that. Although I did get HubSpot. We did get HubSpot. We got HubSpot. We got Dropbox.
is there a version number on this doc?
I don't know. I can't understand what that even means. Oh,
Well,
not
this is
yeah. I don't know.
this
Not
is
currently
also the
available.
thing, right? Like the speed of AI is faster than the speed of their docs,
Yeah.
right? And like,
Yeah.
hey, could
Well,
you maybe put an like could you have an AI who was next to you responsible for like we made a decision in this? Its job is to say what part of our front-facing communications and our help documents need to
Yeah.
be updated based on this.
Well, OpenAI, if you're wondering, we can totally build you a solution that will automatically update your documentation based upon the content that you're producing, if you haven't done so already, apparently.
So so it may be worth going to team because then you can chat against what's in your Dropbox, what's in your Google Drive, what's in your OneDrive, what's your SharePoint. If you have a Plus or Pro account, you can't chat with any of these things. You can only use it for deep research, which kind of sucks. So I was like, oh, I would have loved even this aspect, but I can't. So
Gotcha.
and they won't even allow you in any package to chat against your Outlook. I would imagine that would be a Mustafa Suleiman, like he'd go ballistic and be like, "What?"
Right.
It's because that, like, you do this and this, that eliminates me.
Well, I mean, if we want to get into the red string theories, we can discuss that, but that's probably a bit beyond what today's live react was supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Oh.
All
I
right.
think so. Jimmy, this is the big one. Custom connectors, ChatGPT search. That one.
Yeah,
Is not in
It's
Team,
not.
Enterprise, and Edu.
Yeah.
Not in here, and you
Yeah,
can't
no
even
chat search.
you can only do it with deep research. So
Research. Yeah.
it's so it's kind of
Oh, okay.
you can't just chat again. Like so oh well.
Okay, but you can. But it go down. Did it say it will be for Plus? Yes. So we
But
can
you still
create,
can't do.
but
You
it's
can't.
only deep research.
It's
Right.
only deep research. So yeah.
And what's got the double those
This
the
one.
asterisks? No, it's got the little modifiers, the asterisk modifier, which has the explainer at the bottom.
Oh, this one with the plus. Okay, I don't even know. There's
So,
an
no,
added.
it's up there. It's right underneath the chart.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah,
not
right there.
available for plus users.
Yeah, currently, not current.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I'll take a current.
Okay, current. Okay, sounds
Okay.
good. All right.
right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.